bored? Are you bored, Erin? Can you hear me?
Oh, where did she go? Where did she
I'm
go?
here. Hi,
Hear me?
I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Why?
Hmm.
I can hear you, Erin. Mm-mm. Okay. Where'd my Miro board go? There we go. This I don't want to open. Can you hear me, Erin? Hi. Now I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi. Yeah. Should I
Okay,
remove
now,
the person?
yeah, remove the straight on face one, please.
I was just asking if you were bored.
I'm not bored. I
I was
wish I
just mentioning that you didn't have enough to do.
No, not at all. I have nothing to do. You know, I'm like,
Sitting
t
around.
today's one of those days where I'm literally on the verge of like just crying, like packing my laptop and sitting here and crying. I'm just like, it's fine. Everything's fine. It's fine. It's
It's
fine.
all so good.
It's all good. So,
Yeah.
Marcy told me to respond to your email, and I haven't looked at anything since Friday. But just going to try to work through a ton of stuff today to get caught back up on what direction we're
I
going
hope
on
today
everything.
really helps you a lot. I think it will.
Yeah,
Hi, guys.
we got to find me some help.
Girl.
I don't like
Okay,
how.
I'm looking for one more
There we go.
client accountability. Hi, you guys. There was one more spreadsheet that I wanted to find for this meeting. Jeanette, hello. Hi, Norma.
Bonjour.
Norma, I love
How
your
are you?
logo. Hi, honey. I miss talking to you.
Ah, it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
Our
You're
meeting.
coming. I'm just looking. I got one more document that I want to share. Oh, I think this is it. Yeah. All right. We are good. Okay. I think we're at the hour. We're going to dive in. So I'm going to share my let me just share first. Okay. First of all, a couple of my virtual assistants are going to jump in like 10 minutes, and I'm going to interview them so that you can kind of learn from their perspective what works and what doesn't for them, because they're amazing. The most interesting thing I've found is that when I meet with a new client, they refer to the person at their front desk as front desk. Like, often the person doesn't even have a name, they're just front desk. So I've got front desk, and then I've got my mom, and then I've got my kids, right? And I think that that's what's happened is we've made this so it's been made so difficult, and it really doesn't need to be. And I get that there's irony in me teaching a course on how to hire a virtual assistant because I literally wrote the book, right? And the truth is that I had to get really good at this part in order to build the way that I wanted to build. So my build wasn't my practice, it was Staffless Practice as a company. And if it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're trying to do. The system remains true for, my husband and I joke a lot about how if you want to let go of extra weight, it's calories in, calories out. It's not like you don't need a rocket scientist degree to know that if you eat less, you're going to lose weight, right? So the truth is that this system works too. It is what it is, and it doesn't need to be complicated. And the problem is often many of us are too smart. Like we can't see the forest through the trees, and we overcomplicate the dickens out of this process. So the first thing I want you to do is take a deep breath and know that you are not on this journey alone. And this is hands down the hardest part of being in practice, is getting the help that you need and being really good at, like, a lot of us are dreamers and idealists, and we have all of these amazing ideas, and that's why we started our own practice, right? We're not sitting on the couch. And we need what's called an implementer. We need people to implement the ideas that we have without having to manage their implementation. That's all that we need. So I'm going to share a few concepts with you, and you guys are welcome to stop me if I'm going too fast. Did I just shut down my Miro board? Oh, here it is. Okay. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is share my screen with you. And let's make sure I'm sharing the right screen. Okay, you should be able to see a Miro board. Yes, Erin, just give me a thumbs up if you can see it. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna remind you that this is specifically for a private practice. And if you're part of a big team and you're one of the team members on the team who brings ideas to the tables, then plug yourself into the puzzle wherever you fit, okay? So the first thing that we do before we dive into this is we look at how we're currently spending our time as the business owner, as the practitioner. And I've got this handy dandy worksheet for you guys. And what basically all you do is you list out all of the tasks you do in a day. Like right now, I think Erin is paying bills, right? And what we'll see very quickly is that that's actually a seat for her team, for somebody who's running the operations seat on her team. And we're going to go into what that means. So I would want Erin to come and write down or type in every single thing that she did in a day. I took the garbage out. I got the mail. I paid bills. I charged patients. I adjusted people. I had a conversation with my dad. I had a conversation with my mom. I went shopping for the office. I ate lunch. I cleaned up from lunch. This sounds familiar. I took care of notes, which is usually the biggest pain in the ass that people complain about. So all of the tasks that you do in one day. And then the second column is about looking back at all of those tasks. Don't do this while you're filling it in. Come back to it and do this. Is that something that you could have delegated to the right person? Can you dump that thing and not really do it at all? Or can you automate it? So if it's paying bills, an example for that would be you can usually automate paying bills, right? Some people don't want to automate it because they want to see the check written and the money go out. And the next step would be, then that's something that can be delegated. And then maybe the option is I just keep this on my task list because this is something that I really want to be doing. Here's an example. I love watering the plants in my office. Don't touch my plants. Like, you can mess with just about anything, but don't mess with my plants because they're so important to me. And when I have what I call a Casper come in and take care of my office when I'm not there and clean up and empty the trash and bring in the mail, that's one of the things that I don't want her to do because I want to take care of my plants because I actually enjoy doing that, right? So that would be an example of, is it the best use of my time? Maybe, but I want to do it. I'm not ready. I'm not willing to let go of it. So I'm just going to take a minute and add one more thing here. Add another item. I want to do this. Okay, so that's an option now. Okay, so this is the spreadsheet that you're going to be working with, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link to the spreadsheet in the chat. And if you're watching the replay of this, it's wherever you're watching the replay. Okay, that's thing one. Once you've done that and you have because a lot of us are like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I've been here since 7 this morning. I don't know what the hell I've done since 7 this morning, right? Start with a study of it. Just do, and I know that it might seem tedious, but I promise you it's by doing these little things that you're going to start to see answers push forward. Okay, here are the typical, so let me just say, I want to say this. All companies, and yes, your practice is a company, whether or not you want to see it that way. All companies have 3 departments. Operations, which is generally the running of the company. It's the money in, the money out, the hiring, the HR, the rent, like the negotiations, the contracts. It's the operations of the company. Fulfillment is making your promise true to your practice members. It's how do you fulfill on your promise to your clients. Some people might even add fulfillment on, and this can be a creative process. Like you might want fulfillment to be including your if you have a big team, how do you fulfill on the promise to your team? That could be part of fulfillment too. Making good on your promise is fulfillment. And then the third department of the company is growth. How do you do in-person and online growing? And the online growing is it's taking over more and more this process because it's becoming more and more prevalent. However, I will say when it comes to growth, as fast as AI is growing and the online opportunities are growing, it's just as true that relationships in your community hold true always as the best source of referral. If you develop relationships with a PT down the street or the OBGYN who serves most of the moms in your practice, you'll never have to run an ad for your practice because you're the name that they have in their back pocket and they don't want to learn a new name. If you can establish that relationship from the beginning, it's your number one practice grower. I don't care what they say about running ads on Facebook. I'm talking 25 years in practice here, you guys. And no matter what I have thrown at it, my referrals are my best source. Because if a doctor who already has clout with a practice member says that you're the person who's going to solve this problem, it's a trusted source from if they're getting it from the right source. If you got like a Looney Tune referring to you, that's going to speak a lot to the referral too. So be careful who you partner with in your community. Okay, let's get into the seats. So a seat is a position on your team. Most of the time, if we're a one woman or a one man show, we're in all of the seats. We're doing all of it, right? And that's why we're so exhausted. Here's the rule of thumb. And you guys, most of these concepts come from this book. It's called Traction. And Traction is all about an operating system called EOS, not the lip balm EOS, but an operating system called EOS. Okay. So in the book Traction, they talk about seats and they talk about, and my VAs are actually entering the room right now. That's another thing, like I learned the hard way. Don't call your assistants who are virtual VAs. They don't like it, right? Call them Joanne and Sheena because they deserve to be called their name. Or Angel. This morning we had a whole conversation about how we refer to Sheena as the angel. You guys, I'll be right with you. So here's what an org chart would look like for a typical private practice. Here's the rule of thumb. You can have one person in more than one seat, but you can't have more than one person in a seat. I'm going to say it again. You can have one person, and Erin, I know that this is true for you. You can have one person in more than one seat on the team, but you can't have 3 people in one seat. You can't say the front desk is the job of Abby, Josh, and Sarah. You can say the patient scheduling is the job of Abby, and the billing is the job of Sarah, and the phone getting answered is the job of, I don't remember, whatever the last person was. But you can't just call it front desk and give it to 5 different people, because what will happen? You've got nobody taking accountability for that thing getting done, and everything goes in freaking circles. Okay, so here are the typical seats in a private practice. HR, which is basically hiring, training, nurturing, and firing. Nurturing is a big one there, like making sure your team is happy, bonusing, having reviews, course correcting if stuff is getting out of hand, checking references, looking for people on Upwork. And I'm going to go into that in a little bit. Practice growth is a seat, right? Every one of these seats has a measurable outcome, which is called a KPI, a key performance indicator. And the KPI for practice growth is probably the number of new patients you see in a month. So you can say to Jane, who runs your practice growth, that's the seat that Jane runs, our typical practice growth over the past year has been 10 new patients a month. Every time we get to one more patient, I'm going to bonus you X in energy, money, or time. Those are the 3 ways people like to get bonus. Some people, you can put $1 in front of them and it does 0 for them. Other people, you can put service to their church in front of them and they will do anything for it. So you really have to find out from the beginning, how does this person like to be celebrated? Okay. So practice growth, and that's inside growth. It's also practice stats. That's practice growth person. It's also outside, misspelled outside. It's outside growth. It's partnerships, nurturing partners in the community, and it's online growth. I really do like to see the seat practice growth in my practice. I'll split this seat and I'll say, I want an internal practice growth and an external practice growth. I'll take care of the external practice growth. You take care of the internal practice growth. So I would take one of the seats for that. Okay. Your seats can have babies. Your seats can multiply depending on what you need. The goal, though, is that every person on the team knows what they're responsible for. Schedule coordinator is another seat. New member advocate, that's like new patient education. It's setting up the first visit paperwork. It's gowning patients if you do that. It's educating practice members when they're new to the office. It's giving them a tour. It's all of those things. New member advocate. Member care coordinator, like what is their care plan? This is often the doctor takes the seat. What's the care that you're fulfilling on with the promise that you made to your practice member? What's their care plan? Who's checking and make sure that visit 12 happened and the reevaluation happened? That's a seat. And can you imagine if one person on your team, even if it's a virtual person, was responsible for making sure every 12th visit, your practice members had a reevaluation scheduled? That was their job. Imagine what that would do to your practice stats. So you can't tell me that you can't afford this. You can't afford not this. Okay. Money in, money out boss. That's what all I call that. And often that's going to be you, unless you have someone. My strong suggestion is with money in, money out boss is this is somebody who has a background in bookkeeping or finance or strategic planning for financials, something like that. This might also be the person who handles insurance in the office. If not, if your money in, money out boss, the person who does the bookkeeping for the practice, doesn't know insurance, you might have a second money seat for insurance. And then the care itself. This is your wheelhouse as a practitioner. Of all of the things that I just said, this is what's going to make you the most money and allow you to give the biggest impact, is doing the care, unless you're really good at marketing and educating. Right? This is your wheelhouse. Everything else is like, nothing takes precedence over you giving great care. You know that that's true. That's what you went to school for 10 years for, right? Office caretaker, this is a really important role that is often dropped. This is also the first in-person role I like to see all of our clients get. This is a Casper. This is somebody who comes to your office, wipes down tables, takes out the trash, brings in the mail, runs to the bank, washes the face cloths if you have them, stocks the fridge, stocks the diaper area, makes sure the spritzer bottles have water, like all of those things. This is somebody who you trust because they have a key to your office. They have access to your bank account. This is the person who is the most forgotten person, but it is absolutely the most important part to your practice. This is not somebody who is client facing. This isn't a person who is answering your phone and booking your new patients. This is an office caretaker who shows up when you are not there. It can be the same person in both roles, but you do not want 2 people in the seat. Unless one is sanitation and one is like admin, right? Do you see how that happens? And then finally, there are some practices that we've worked for, Erin. This might be relevant to you. Marcy, it might be relevant to you too, where you just have a greeter. And their only job is to greet practice members when they walk in their door. Maybe they have 2 seats where they're the greeter and they take care of the phone if the phone gets answered. That's their job. Okay, so I'm going to pivot to just bringing, I'm going to bring Sheena and Joanne. I'm going to ask you guys to, I'm going to pin you. I'm pinning your face, Joanne. You are right there with Piglet. And is Sheena on? Sheena's probably doesn't have her camera on. Okay, so
Yes, I'm
Sheena and
here.
Joanne are hi honey, 2 of my team members. Joanne is actually our fulfillment manager. She started as just our development chief roommate. And she has absolutely stepped into her power in this role. She's so good at bossing people around, and she knows every corner of what we do and what we build. So Joanne, if you can just speak for 2 minutes or less about when somebody, Joanne, both Joanne, all of the women that I hire at this point are in the Philippines. And here's why. If Joanne, Lori, Sheena, Margot, Leah, any of the divas on my team, if they sign up to do something, they're going to give it 110%. If they don't give it 110%, they'll cry over it. They will lose sleep over it. That's how important this job is to them. This job, the amount of appreciation that comes from these women and the honor that I have to be able to work, and they're in it. They're all in because they see the vision of the company and they want to be part of it. They also are kind, they're honest, their integrity is an understatement. Like, of course we have integrity on our team. There's no lying, there's no cheating, there's no stealing. It's unheard of. And they want to work 60 hours a week. And I actually have to tell Joanne and Lori, you're not working this weekend. You have to take the weekend off or you'll get sick. So that, and I've tried to hire women. I love supporting women in business. It's just a thing that I've always been crazy about from other countries. And I haven't seen, this is just my experience, I haven't seen what I just said true as a statement outside of the women that I've worked with in the Philippines. So Joanne, with that being said, 2 minutes or less, what do we want to think about when we're looking, and I'm going to go into like what Upwork looks like and how to do all of that when we're looking for a match, specifically in the Philippines, for a team member who is going to take care of the admin for our practice?
Um, well, basically, what we're looking for is someone who's actually hardworking and who's actually going over the mile. It's like when you actually say something that you do this, they actually do beyond it. They make it more beautiful than what you actually ask. And they also are supposed to be service oriented. So basically, they base everything that they do on what um, the company is for or what the company service is. What else? Um,
How did you learn that? Where did you learn that from?
I don't know, maybe it's just Filipino ethics. We just I started as a customer service here in the Philippines. It's a BPO company, some uh healthcare department. So that's where I typically started. So basically, they just ask you what's the benefit for hospital inpatient, something like that. So I just give everything, and then we have this metrics that you're supposed to reach, just so you'll have incentives at the end of the month. So I don't know. It's just
Right.
basically maybe a Filipino ethics that when someone's being asked of you, you just do it beyond expectations. And
And
then
that's
we
exactly
work.
what I experienced. Well, tell me what's a minimum wage in the Philippines for somebody um, to do admin, virtual admin work for a doctor's office? What's the least amount that's fair, and what's like, wow, you landed a great job fair?
Well, the least amount that is fair would be $5 per hour. That's it. And the wow amount will be $8 to $10 for an
You guys
admin work.
hear her saying that, right? Okay. Thanks. You're the best. All right, Sheena, I'm pinning you. So Sheena's my right hand, literally. Sheena is Sheena. Here's what I'm gonna. Oh, I'm not removing you, Joanne. I just want to unpin you. Hold on a second. Remove pin. Okay. Sheena broke her foot last week. It was her birthday. She was in the freaking. She had to get on a plane to get surgery on her foot. Right, Sheena? From the waiting room, she's on her laptop saying, I have to work. I'm committed to what I do. I have to work. You have to let me work. It was also her birthday. There was nothing said about her birthday. I found out it was her birthday from another team member. That's what we get with Sheena. Like, you see the crutches in the background, you guys? So here's what Sheena does for us. Sheena, her job is the fulfillment angel. And she does anything that has to do with fulfilling on our promise to a client. Sheena takes the ball and runs with it administratively. She's not a brand designer. That's not her thing. Her thing is the spreadsheets, the emails, the reminders, the organization. That's Sheena. So, Sheena, where are you currently now with the crutches?
Oh, I am stuck in my bed, so I'm working in my bed. I can't go to my actual work table, so I have to make do with what I have here. So I have to keep my leg
What would you,
elevated. Yeah.
how would you, she broke her tibia? You broke your tibia, right?
My fibula and
Ooh.
and some broken bones at the bottom
Ooh.
of the tibia. Yeah.
So how would you answer the same question? Like, what do we want to, as US and Canada based doctors, if we're hiring a virtual assistant on Upwork, what do we want to be thinking about to make sure that we're matching your talent with our job?
Um, yes, so I think the most important thing is, especially like speaking from my experience, is I would really prefer if you would do like a call or an interview. It kind of like makes you feel if this person would be a match for you, and also as a Filipino trait, we are really determined to learn. So I think experience is important, but I believe that it can be learned along the way, especially like new tools that you're using. So as long as you can see that that person is if you're the one that you're interviewing is really willing to learn, and I think you can see that also, and yeah, I think that's it. So
That's awesome.
that Dr. Jody
And
found me randomly. Yeah, so and
I
I
did.
kind
I
of
found you. I don't remember.
yeah, you did. And then you kind of messaged me on Upwork, and I said, you were just asking me to do some Facebook posts back then, and then yeah, I'll be happy to do that. And then soon later you kind of tested me, like you made me do other tasks, and you said that, oh, you're good at this, and then we kind of slowly moved to a full-time arrangement, and yeah, so that's
Oh,
how we
Sheena,
started.
that's how we
Yeah.
started. Thank you. I appreciate your time. So Sheena
And
and Joanne, you guys, I just wanted to interview. I wanted to put the face behind the names with our community members. Um, if you're ready, if you look at the list that I just talked about and you're like, okay, I'm ready to delegate some of this stuff, I'm going to show you what the next step is. Okay, we're going to go into Upwork, and I'm going to share my screen. So I did create a guide for you guys. Of course, you know how I am with my guides, right? Here, this is called the Virtual Assistant Hiring Guide. One of the things that Sheena does better than anybody else is she formats Word documents in Google Docs like a boss. so, so here is, I'm going to, actually, Sheena, you can do it if you don't mind, is just turn this into a PDF and throw it in the chat. I basically gave you an assistant hiring guide, all of the things that you want to think about, like where you can post. And I'm going to give you the difference between Upwork and Online Jobs PH. There, you can absolutely do a time recorder. Like if you're establishing trust and rapport and you're not quite sure how to do it at first, if you hire somebody on one of the Filipino job sites, you can have a time, like we use Time Doctor, and it will record snapshots of the person's screen every 30 seconds. With my full-time team members, we don't do that. Like we're on a trust base, right? Actually, with a couple of our team members, we're on salary. They just get the same amount of money every 2 weeks, and they put in as much work as they want to, as long as the job gets done. What else can I tell you about this? I'm going to show you what Upwork is like. Filipino, the onlinejobs.ph, it's like going fishing. And you might have a catch or two, but it is, it's like, I would say 1 out of 30 people that answers an ad that I post or a job that I post is somebody who I'd want to interview. And it can become a royal pain in the butt. One of the suggestions that I was given is in a job posting, include a link to a Google form. And then that Google form you can create a zap for it to go to a spreadsheet. And depending on how one of the questions was answered, it'll just turn red all of the people who are out. But the people who are in, those are the people you set up a group interview with. And we'll go into that in a minute. So let's go to Upwork. Upwork is it's a talent search site, and you have to be really careful. I actually got kicked off of Upwork because I dropped because we hired somebody outside of Upwork who we found on Upwork, and that's a big no-no. I didn't know that it was a no-no, so I didn't, now what we do is we keep them on Upwork as long as we can. So there's a way that you can search talent, like project coordinator is a job that we're hiring for now. And there are certain things that I check off, and I'm going to go through them with you here. Actually, Sheena, if you wouldn't mind just jotting down, it'll be in the Fathom notes, but if you wouldn't mind jotting down what I'm about to say, that would be super helpful. And you can add it to that virtual assistant guide. So the first thing it's really important to me first of all, are they client facing? Is this somebody who is going to, okay, so I'm going to make my covers there. They're very affordable too. Right, I agree, Nicole. Is this somebody who is going to be facing your clients, which is called client facing, or practice members? Are they going to meet your practice members in the Zoom? Or are they totally behind the scenes? That's the first thing you want to figure out. If they are client facing, you're going to need to ask them to record a Loom for you so that you can see what their background, like Sheena is obviously bedridden right now, but if I was in and she sent me a Loom with her crutches on a bed, I probably wouldn't hire her. I want to see that the person who I'm hiring takes a lot of care and consideration to their background, right? To the background in the Zoom. If they're going to meet with my clients face to face, they also, where I am in the world, they need to know about HIPAA compliance. They need to be familiar with it. They need to know how to respect it. They also need to know how to use a VPN. Because if they are sharing the screen with a client, in order to be HIPAA compliant, they need to be on a VPN. So that is that. What I would do with this screen is I might look project coordinator. Let's say that this is somebody I want who is client facing. I usually choose top rated plus right here. I'll choose $10 to $20 an hour for this specific role. I don't check anything off here because I find that it really narrows down the talent. Location for me, if it's somebody on my team, I love choosing people in the Philippines because of the reasons that I just said. I also really enjoy working with women in South Africa. I find them, in general, lovely, kind, meticulous, really committed to their work. And I learned that from my coaching group. They shared that information with me. I've also been taught lot about people in Brazil, people in Argentina, people in Colombia are really wonderful to work with, and different parts of the world focus their recruitment, their virtual recruitment. They build up training programs specific to different niches. And I'm still learning more about that piece. But for this specific, if it was a manager of projects of all of those things, perfect for somebody in the Philippines, in my experience. So I would say Philippines, and here, this is really important. Freelancers and agencies. Agencies, I'm not a fan of because this needs to be HIPAA compliant. And I don't know if you're with agency, I don't know who's looking at the screen. It makes me feel funny. I need a BAA with this person. I need to know that they are on my team and they're going to show up and they're going to be there for the hours that they commit to. I don't want to rotate the people who are working in this job. So I'm going to say freelancers. And I'm also going to say this is important. English level, for me on my team, it needs to be native or bilingual. And Joanne can attest to this. When I have waived this as a priority and I said it can just be okay, it has always been a problem. They need to speak native or bilingual English. Okay, and then I would just, those are the searches that I would do. And then these are all of the people. Look, happiness, customer happiness manager. If you want to message them, you can send them a random message. And I like to make a template for this, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. I also like to, before I do this search, I like to have a job. And these are the jobs we have on Upwork right now. And I'll connect a job to the message that I'm sending them. So that's Upwork. And I use the free version of Upwork. I don't believe I pay Upwork anything. You can use a paid version of Upwork, though. I think that people, oh, here's how they get paid. If you hire somebody, like let's say I hire Liska, I think is her name. Let's say I hire her. I have to pay her through Upwork. And every time this person gets paid, Upwork takes a piece of it. That's how they get paid. So that's Upwork. I'm going to go into using the drag method to find this person in a minute, but I want to show you the PH site. So, and you'll see what I mean when I show you this. I have 36 unread messages, and I haven't looked at this. All of these new, it's clunky. These are unread. These are all from the past couple of days. And it's harder because you have to read through every one of them. I'll look for typos. And if I don't initially see any typos, I'll paste a comment. Please send me a 1-minute Loom telling me how you're a fit for this position. I'll watch their Loom. I'll listen to their English. I'll look at their background. I'll listen if I can hear cars driving by, like how professional, how do they show up? I found somebody on this website this morning to build chatbots. So, but he's still in an interview process, and I'm going to show you how we do that in a minute. Okay. Before we go into the drag method for this job description, are there any questions, or does anybody have a comment? The virtual assistant checklist. Oh no. Oh, Brooke is talking about your foot, Sheena. Okay. All right. So far, so good? Okay, let's go into the drag method. So I think I downloaded this. Sheena, can you go into Canva and grab the drag method and create a PDF? I've done this like 10 times and I just didn't keep it. But we're going to open ChatGPT and go there. Okay, let me share this. All right, so let's go into a new chat. So the drag method is, it's an acronym, DRAG, and it means description or describe, details, description, describe. R is role, A is ask, and G is generate. This is a way to use ChatGPT to Lighten the load on your creative burden to know how to get what you need from ChatGPT. So can I have a volunteer from somebody who's with us to give me the words to generate? And what we're going to be generating is a job description and a step-by-step on how to find the person. Can somebody unmute and be my guinea pig? And just, there you are, Erin, you want to go?
I would like somebody that I can push all of my excess tasks over to. So I'd like somebody who can check my emails, sort my emails to see what's important and what's junk. Someone who I can record all the tasks that I need done throughout the day, and they'll go through my list and do them.
And what's been the problem with this so far?
I don't have
Have you
anybody
tried?
on. No, I haven't tried this yet.
Okay.
I-
All right. So don't talk for a minute. I want to hire a virtual assistant, ideally in the Philippines. My budget is somewhere between $5 and $8 an hour. And I want them to be able to run circles around me with keeping my email and inbox and responses organized and punctual, and only put in front of me the things that need my attention, but in a way that is not going to overwhelm me. I've never tried to hire a virtual assistant before, so I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm going to guesstimate this is about 20 hours a week. Is there anything else you want to add to the description?
No, that'll be good for now.
Okay, so that's D, that's details and description. Usually with description, we ask who, what, where, when, why, how, and how much. So let me answer a couple of more things. I need this person because I'm drowning in emails and I'm falling behind on what people are waiting on from me. And I'm also really frustrated with my team that they can't do this for me. Who, what, where? I love the idea of working with somebody in the Philippines because of all of the lovely things that I have heard about them. Ideally, a female assistant. Who, what, where, when? I need to hire them immediately, and I want them to be available business hours, Central Time. When? I want them to be familiar with Go High Level because that's the platform that I use for emails, but I also want them to be a master of all things Google. I need this because I have so many ideas that I need to put into action and I just don't have the time to do it. Okay, so that's D. You see how I went through who, what, where, when, why, how, and how much? I checked all those boxes. I was saying that for Erin because I know Erin. If I didn't know her, I would have asked her for all those details. So that's D. R is role. And basically what you're doing is you're asking the chatbot to play a specific role when it generates the response for you. In this position, I'm going to ask the chatbot, knowing Erin, to play the role of my CEO coach, as well as a successful multi-millionaire practice owner who has 4 different locations. Play the role of a successful CEO coach, as well as a practice owner who owns several locations of their practice, bringing in over $2 million a year. Also bring in a self-care advocate like my mom. Okay, that's the R, the role. And then ask me 3 questions in order to generate a response that's going to give me a job description, an interview plan, and a step-by-step KPI and outline for what this person is going to do for me. You ready, you guys? So Erin is going to ask 3 questions. Oh yes, it's time to reclaim your brain space, inbox sanity, and CEO vibes. You're at the perfect threshold where one badass VA will completely change the game for you and finally get brilliant ideas out of your head and into the world. Putting my CEO coach hat on, care mom cape and seasoned multi-practice owner mindset, I'm ready to hand you the whole playbook, but first I need a few pieces of insight so I can tailor it just right. Now, the reason it talks to me that way is because I asked my bot to be friendly and a little bit funny. Okay. When your VA is managing your emails, what do you want them? Do you want them to reply as you, draft responses for you approval, or filter label only with you replying manually?
The second option, draft responses for me to look over.
Okay. What's your ideal daily check-in style? A voice note summary, a quick list in Slack, shared dashboard or spreadsheet, or minimal updates unless something is urgent?
The first one.
Okay, I'm going to push back.
Okay.
Because I know how busy you are. And you're going to have all of these voicemails load up just like your emails do. I have one of my team members at the end of each one of her shifts, because I felt like it was necessary to rein her in and to stay connected with the pieces she was in charge of, leave me a daily voicemail. I probably listen to it 1 out of every 5 days. Everybody else on the team, Sheena, part of her job is she goes and she checks everybody's to-do list for the week. And if something is not marked done, she puts it in front of me like a flashcard.
Okay.
So I just want your wheels to spin like that. I learned that the hard way, Erin, right?
Okay.
Priority brain dump. What 3 types of tasks or email categories are absolutely bogging you down right now? Examples: client scheduling, vendor emails, newsletters, team questions, invoices, sales replies.
Vendor invoices and replies.
And email replies. Okay. There are the answers to the questions, and now it's going to generate a response for you. And you can go back over and over and say, I don't like that. Can you give me this instead? And it will regenerate the response for you. So this is the job title: virtual assistant, virtual executive assistant, email and operations ninja, 20 hours a week. It's funny, the person I am interviewing for the chatbot, he said that he's a go high level ninja. That's how people refer to him. So it's funny that that word's used. We're looking for a sharp, detail-obsessed, highly organized virtual executive assistant based in the Philippines to help a busy multi-practice healthcare CEO and self-care advocate get out of email overwhelm and back to the visionary mode. And then it gives all of the responsibilities, it gives the requirements, it gives the pay, and 20 hours a week. When it comes to pay, you guys, I'll say it starts at $5 an hour, but I always want people to know how special they are and how grateful I am that they're on my team. So I'll start them a little bit more than what I said that the job is starting at. I never start at what I say it's going to start at. I started a little bit more, and then I plan bonuses and raises. We have a bonus on our team right now where anybody who's in the fulfillment part, as long as their tasks are done for the client or the deadlines for them are pushed each week, as long as everything is in current status, everybody gets a bonus in the bonus pool for the end of the month. And if one person screws it up, nobody gets the bonus. So everybody on the team is holding each other accountable. One of the best things I've done in a long time. And tomorrow or Thursday's payday, and they're all going to get extra cash, which I love doing. It'll tell you where to post. It gives you the application process, the interview questions, and then it also gives you the onboarding success plan. So Erin, I'm going to copy this. Actually, yeah, I'll copy this and I'll throw it in an email to you. Let me just do that really quick, you guys, before I take questions, unless somebody else wants to do a test. Just unmute yourself and we'll go for it. All right, Erin, that one just went to you. Who else wants to try it? Thanks, Nicole. What else? All right, so I just want to do a recap because you guys are quiet. I still love you even though you're quiet. It's okay. I can deal. Okay. So you should see my Miro board, right? So here's the recap, okay? One seat, one person per seat. If you've got two people doing the same job, then duplicate the seat and do something different about it. That's the most important thing that I said today. I'm learning that the hard way. If somebody doesn't have the responsibility of getting that piece of the puzzle done, they can't take ownership of it. They can't put pride into it. They just can't because they can't accomplish it, right? They need to have their lane on their team. You can have the wrong person in the wrong position, the wrong person in the right position, the right person in the wrong position. You want the right person in the right position. So if I had Sheena, who is obviously the right person for my team, in a job that was all about brand design, it's the right person in the wrong position. If I had someone who was really good at Canva and brand design, but they were an ass, wrong person, right position. Do you get it? You want the right person in the right position. So take a look first at your org chart. Do you have the right people in the right positions? If you don't, 36 hours of pain. So you're going to rip the Band-Aid, you're going to make some changes, and it's going to hurt for 36 hours. But it's going to save you so much time, energy, and money to have the right people in the right positions. If you're doing all of this, if you're a one-person show right now, your first hire should either be an executive assistant or a Casper, the person who comes in and cleans the tables and does all the things. Or another option is if you're heavy in billing and you want to be charging insurance companies and all that stuff, hire a biller. It's the worst way for you. It is the worst way over and over again for a doctor to spend their time doing billing. It's just so gross, you guys. Like it's so above what you should be doing. It's below what you should be doing for so many reasons, most of us energetically. If you're managing that piece and there's fear going into the money picture, it's going to be a downward spiral. It is worth its weight in gold to go hire somebody who knows their jam when it comes to insurance billing and pay another $10 an hour for it. It's worth it. My bookkeeper is pricey. I think I pay her $600 a month. She's always within $1,000 or $2,000 for taxes, always. And she's worth every freaking penny. I could very easily have said, oh, I can't hire her because she's too expensive. No, it's too expensive to not hire her. So have the people in the lane, the right person in the right lane, and pay the extra money to do it if you need to. Okay? Any questions? Any challenges with what I said? Anything at all before we hop off? You said you pay them via the hiring agency. I think you can do either, Jeanette. I think you can you can link a bank account or you can put a credit card on it. I think that that's true. That's an Upwork question. I'm not really sure. I kind of like paying people on Upwork because it takes the responsibility. Like I pay all my team members through Gusto. When they're officially a full-time team member, I'm not in contract with any hiring agency. We use Gusto payroll. And I pay my team in the Philippines through international payments, and I pay my coaches as independent contractors because they are. That's my team right now, right? We have our coaches and we have our virtual assistant team and our dev team. So with my private practice, Sheena is who you met is actually my virtual assistant. I did want to talk about this. Sheena went through HIPAA training. Sheena has an account with my HIPAA company, which is called Abide. If you need that link, let me know. Sheena is always on a secure platform when she logs into my JNAP. She has a JNAP account that has limitations based on what I'm comfortable showing. Also the same in the practice suite. I did want to say one more thing before we hop off. So This has been a long time coming, you guys. You've been asking me this for a long time. So I'm going to make this announcement right now. I'm just going to share it with you guys. I'm working with this company that it's actually, I'm studying this book, Traction. Erin, this would be a really good book for you. And one of the things that they push you to do is to see your 10-year vision. What do you want to create in the next 10 years? And what came to me, I really didn't know the answer to that with everything we're doing with Staffless and the Practice Suite. What we want to do is we want to create Main Street boutique referral-based integrity foundation practices called the Saya Studio. And we want to run all of the admin of them so that we can say to a new doctor or a doctor wanting to start over, we're going to build it for you. We're going to pay the rent for you. We're going to paint it for you. And we're going to run it for you. All you have to do is show up and serve great care. That's where we're going. And I say 10 years, but it's probably going to be like 2 years away, right? So the start of that, then the idea is you create your 10-year goal and then your 3-year vision with it, the 1-year vision with it, and what do you have to do now? The 1-year vision with what I just said is what we're calling the Saya Collective. And basically, if you have a practice suite and you want us to do the virtual assistant, checking patients in, running Jane app for you, scheduling patients, doing virtual errand running for you, sending emails, managing your inbox, all of these things, that's the Saya Collective, and we can offer that service to you now. We're collecting names for waitlist. That's all we're doing at this point. The charge on it is $2 a minute. So the general rule of thumb is per 60 client visits per week. If you're following my system, it's about an hour of admin per 60 patient visits a week. That does not include insurance. This is checking patients in. This is scheduling patients. This is answering your texts a few times a day. And we organize it through what's called check-ins. So Erin, a check-in on your platform, your Practice Suite platform, your Jane app accounts, it might take 10 or 15 minutes each time we do a check-in. And maybe you order 5 or 6 check-ins a day, right? Some of our clients say, I want you to just keep my inbox open. I want one BA assigned to me. And if that's what you want to do, that's what we can do. It's $2 a minute. So that would allow you to bypass everything that I just said and just hire our team. That's what Sheena does for my practice. And honestly, there's no way I could do what I'm doing in the world without it. There's no way I could do it. So that is the Saya Collective. That's the big announcement, or we can teach you how to hire your own virtual assistant. Any questions, thoughts, comments, or concerns? Okay. And we'll see you next week.